Coming up on ATV News.
You might come to the library to study, but find out what other activities happened right here.
A favorite USU professor passed away. We'll show you how his students and family are remembering him.
Do you like a good drama? Wait till you hear what happened this week in basketball.
A cool new gadget at Utah State is bringing together two very unlikely groups of students. We'll tell you who they are and what they're learning.
All that and more coming up right now on your ATV News. Welcome to your ATV News. I'm Tamara Bradley.
And I'm Randall Henry. Can you probably think of somebody in your life who has pushed you to achieve your goals, someone who has mentored you, and there may have been moments you wished you could go back and thank this person for all they've done for you?
This is especially true for students of Professor Alan Hashimoto at Utah State University after he passed away unexpectedly this last week. Emily Landine joins us live to share with you the thoughts and feelings of those who knew Professor Hashimoto best.
Yes, that's right. The death of Hashimoto was definitely a surprise. Now students, colleagues, and friends speak out about the legacy that this teacher is leaving behind.
There was something that was just a little bit more than just doing a cat.
Alan Hashimoto's artwork will live on forever.
No, it was his cat, and no, his cat had one eye.
But his painted and printed works don't explain the complete man that he was.
In a weird way, or like a really good friend, and he'd always tease me and like make the funniest jokes. There's not one class period I had with Alan in all my 4 years where we didn't laugh a lot.
Friend and former USU professor Adrian Van Suchtelen knows Hashimoto's legacy will live on through his students.
He touched many lives. You actually have no idea how many lives you touch as a teacher.
Video students say it was here in the Immerse Lab where Hashimoto taught them every week that some of their best memories were created.
So he loved helping us, and he'd always give us crazy ideas and stuff we could do.
His students will never forget all Hashimoto has done for them.
He created these little families in a way. I don't know how to describe it, but everyone who are in those little groups, they're really close. And like two of my best friends in the whole world are from video. And that's what he's leaving behind.
To them, he is irreplaceable.
Even if we found someone who could do everything that Alan did, they aren't going to be Alan, and that's hard.
And they will never take the time they had with him for granted.
We want to make sure that their family knows that the time that he spent away from home here on campus was spent like touching, helping so many other people. And we want them to know that he was like a superhero in our eyes.
Yes, Hashimoto, the students say that he helped them with everything from finding internships to even jobs. He's been a mentor in every part of their life, and he will definitely be missed. Let's go back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Emily. There will be a public memorial on March 20th from 11:30 to 12:30 in the Russell Wanless Performance Hall. We here at ATV News wish to send our sincerest condolences to both Professor Hashimoto's students and his family.
Filibuster isn't a word you hear every day, but it could be part of your vocabulary soon, depending on how long the Senate takes to vote in a new defense chief. The United States Senate voted last Thursday to filibuster the nomination of Chuck Hagel. Hagel was nominated to serve as Barack Obama's defense chief. With a total of 59 votes, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid changed his vote. The final tally was 58 ayes, 40 nays, and one present vote by Utah's Orrin Hatch. Hatch is the only senator who routinely votes present since Barack Obama's re-election. The Senate has scheduled a revote for February 26 after a 10-day break. The first known filibuster happened in 1853, but its practice wasn't officially adopted into the Senate until 1917.
After the holiday weekend, the Utah Legislature is back in session today. Today also marks the halfway point in the 2013 general session. The Utah House passed a bill last Friday that would give dating partners the same violence protection that married couples receive. Courts could then issue protective orders when violent action or threatening words are involved. Lawmakers are also working to fast-track a bill that could relocate the Utah State Prison. Senate Bill 72 would create a new state agency with the power to recommend a location change directly to the governor while bypassing the legislature. Some Utah college students went to a different school today than they did on Friday. Governor Gary Herbert signed House Bill 61 into law on Saturday morning, transitioning Dixie State College into a university. The bill took effect immediately, and Dixie State University will begin awarding diplomas as a university beginning this May. The name change made headlines earlier this year when some students felt the term Dixie was a dated racial slur and should be retired. At least one member of the Board of Regents agreed, but the Dixie brand was still chosen to represent the new university. Dixie State isn't the only higher education institution in Utah hoping for a new name this legislative season. The USU campus in Price also has proposed a name change. Formerly known as Utah State University College of Eastern Utah, the school is more commonly known as USU Eastern. The longer name resulted from the 2010 merger of Utah State University and the College of Eastern Utah, but school officials say it doesn't identify the school effectively. Instead, they want to use the more concise name to highlight the strengths of the institution. The herd has moved on to the second voting round in the Naismith Student Section of the Year competition. The herd is in 14th place behind student sections from schools like VCU, Purdue, Indiana, and Kansas. Fans can vote for the herd until February 22nd. Prizes for the top scoring schools range from a $25 gift card to a $10,000 donation to the first place school's General Scholarship Fund. Utah State is the only WAC school in the second round, making it eligible for a $250 donation to the scholarship fund.
Well, it's great. Like every year we've been doing this, that it's happened. We're always making it on to the next round, the Sweet 16, the top 8, because we are the best student section in the nation, no matter what people think. I mean, tonight is a great example of that. We have so many different things going on to get everybody excited.
You can find the link to vote for Utah State on the herd's Facebook page.
If you were on campus Wednesday morning, you were probably there when the lights went out in the building across campus, but you might not know why it happened. ATV's Victoria Cardin has the answer.
People in the TSC are walking, studying, and talking in the dark because they don't have a choice. After the electricity went out in multiple buildings on campus, the people were plunged into darkness.
I came in while the students were everywhere and they were kicked out of, well, they weren't kicked out of their classes, but they were told to leave their classes when the power went out. So there was a lot of chaos going on, but not so much anymore.
Some students were disappointed with the power outage.
It kind of sucks because all classes are getting canceled, and all I really wanted was a muffin today. And the hub's closed.
Not just the hub closed, the Slice, Cafe Ibis, and Taco Time all closed as well due to the power outage.
That's the first thing we do, go around and make sure all of our areas are secure. Safety-wise, turning off all the power to everything that shouldn't be on. You know, for example, we had fryers going, the fan shut off and it gets smoky, and so power comes on and the fire alarm goes off. It's really fun.
It's great for me because I've already had a class canceled, so I mean, I don't really know everything, but I'm just glad I don't have class now.
Some teachers were trying to teach classes in the dark, and others canceled theirs, making some students very happy. But now that the lights are back on, classes are back in session.
The power came on after roughly an hour in Old Main. But as for the TSC, the power stayed out a little longer, altogether about 3 hours. The power was fully restored in all buildings about 1:30 p.m. Victoria Cardin, ATV News.
University officials say it was a cascading power failure, but they do not know the specific cause of the outage.
Still ahead on your ATV News? We might sound like a broken record, but guess what? The inversion is back. We'll tell you about the new thing Logan City is doing about it.
And we'll tell you why the library at USU looked more like a circus than a study hall right after the break.
The ORC has been here just over 15 years. It's a great place to come and rent gear. We give cheap rentals for anything from kayaks to tents, to skis, to snowboards, snowshoes. We make renting really, really easy. It's really cheap and you just have to have a student ID. The rates are the lowest you're going to find anywhere in Logan. For instance, to rent snowshoes for a day is $6, or snowboard for a day is $12 for everything, boots, bindings, everything you need. So it's really easy and really cheap.
Usually the only reason you'd come to the library at 10 o'clock on a weeknight is to study. But as we found out, if you were at USU's Merrill Kazir Library last Wednesday night, you might have been a little distracted. You've probably seen a version of the YouTube sensation, the Harlem Shake, before.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
We've probably watched it for about 3 hours on hand, me and my roommates.
I was like really bored one day, so I went to like the popular videos on YouTube and I just found Harlem Shake and I was like, what is this? And it just made me laugh, so I just watched them all.
It was only a matter of time before USU students made one of their own. Some Aggies, including Kate Allman, James Rasmussen, and Bryson Bellacomo, decided they wanted to be first.
It's a pretty phenomenal internet meme. It started about a week ago, and there's just been thousands and thousands of videos that have been coming flowing in. We wanted to get the USU one done as fast as possible because we knew someone was going to do it, and we wanted to do it.
A Facebook event was created for Wednesday at 10 p.m. and more than 100 people gave an RSVP.
When we saw the frequency at which people were joining the group, we closed it. Just so, I think, one, we didn't make the library walls collapse or implode from all the people.
Since this is a library, the mob had to dance quietly and with no music so that they wouldn't disturb the other people who were trying to study.
And like any Harlem Shake, costumes were encouraged.
There's 15 seconds where one guy just kind of grooving and doing weird stuff, and then it cuts at the drop of the song, and it all brings it in. So yeah, that was the first guy. We got a lot of cool stuff.
Rasmussen originally said he'd be surprised if they got more than 1,000 views, but the YouTube video currently has more than 4,000 views and rising.
Logan's been breaking records this winter, and not in a good way. The inversion affects both health and day-to-day life of people living in Cache Valley, and one group is working to solve the problem. Many people living in Logan are growing frustrated with Cache Valley's air pollution, especially after it was recorded the worst in the nation this winter. A new air quality commission is set to start next week to try and figure out what action both the city and residents of Logan should be taking to alleviate the problem. Logan Mayor Randy Watts chairs the committee. The county, already working with the State Division of Air Quality, is on the issue, but now Logan is hoping to help find a solution as well. Members of Cache Valley's County Council say that they are happy with the development and the committee, and hope collaborators will help with the best solution for Cache Valley's dirty air.
A Layton man is dead today after a carport collapsed on him Monday morning. The Layton Fire Department arrived on scene at 9:16 a.m. and found the 50-year-old man stuck in between the wreckage. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The cause of the accident is being blamed on the snow and ice buildup on the carport roof. Police say it was simply a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Utah Jazz assistant coach Sidney Lowe was arrested on Monday for failing to file state tax returns over the course of the last 3 years. Lowe will face 3 misdemeanor counts in North Carolina for his failure to file from 2009 to 2011. Lowe has been a part of the Utah Jazz coaching staff since 2011.
The threat of nuclear attack from North Korea grew stronger this week.
제3차 지하 핵시험을 성공적으로
In the news from North Korea's central agency, it was announced that a third underground nuclear test was successful in the northern part of North Korea on February 12th. New leader Kim Jong-un has announced retaliation and threats against the United States. American officials believe that the North Koreans are testing nuclear weapons small enough to mount on a long-range rocket that could hit U.S. territories. Although North Korea is progressing, an American official says they are still many years from creating a nuclear weapon small enough to launch and reach the U.S.
Well, I know that last weekend was really nice and sunny. What have you got for us coming up this week?
Well, unfortunately, it's not going to last. If we go ahead and take a look at the live cam outside, you can see that the sun's here today, but that's not going to stay for the rest of the week. And I'll have more on that after the break.
So Aaron, it's supposed to be spring out there, but is the week temperatures going to look like that?
Come on, some good news. Unfortunately, guys, it's not. It's actually going to get colder from here on out. And going with that, I guess yesterday, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was actually some pretty cool cloud cover that caused what's called a solar halo. The clouds aren't there today, as we can see outside at Old Main, but I've got a couple pictures here from some local residents here in Utah that sent these in. What it is this is called a solar halo. This is caused when sunlight actually refracts off of ice crystals that are in the clouds. So that was pretty cool. It doesn't happen very often, but it did happen yesterday. As we look at the national radar, the East Coast is actually getting pounded by some precipitation right now, but that's not going to be the case in the next couple days. As we can see off of the coast, there's actually a front going to be coming in that should be here throughout the rest of the week. As we look at the 5-day forecast, today is going to be the last day that we've got sun, and then on Wednesday, tomorrow, we're actually going to have some snow showers that are going to continue throughout the rest of the week. We're going to have a break on Friday with some sun, but then we're back to the snow on Saturday. So unfortunately, guys, we're going to have to just stick it out for a little bit while longer.
I want spring.
It's true. Thanks, Aaron. When we come back, Courtney Robinson will have all your sports action.
All had a roller coaster weekend, and USU hockey suited up for their last home game of the season.
Hey y'all, I'm Courtney Robinson and I've got all your sports news starting right now. Last Thursday and Saturday was revenge week for Utah State men's basketball team as they hosted Denver and New Mexico State. Both these teams beat USU earlier in the season, and our own Jason Borba brings us the sights and sounds of two emotional games.
The Aggies and Pioneers met up on Valentine's Day and put on a good show for the fans. USU got strong contributions from Jared Shaw and Spencer Butterfield. Shaw finished the game with 18 points and 9 boards, while Butterfield chipped in with 16 points and 6 rebounds. Denver was led by sharpshooter Brett Olson, who had 17 points and was 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. It was a closely contested first half between the teams as neither of them was able to pull away. Denver took a slight 25-23 lead into the break.
I just felt like I took my time tonight and made some plays when I needed to. And, I'm lucky they went in. So.
In the second half, the Aggies were down by as many as 9 points. But tough defense and dunks like this got the team back into the game. Down by 1, USU had its opportunities to win the game, but couldn't convert at the free throw line. The Aggies went 1 for 3 from the line in the final 4 seconds to force overtime. In overtime, USU was down by 3 before Butterfield got this three-pointer to bounce in with 18 seconds to play. That gave Olsen enough time to drain a 35-foot three to win the game for the Pioneers 63-60.
You got to look and do it up there, and it went in. Bottom line, really. I mean, we played really good defense, I thought. He's got a little bit of a look at it and made the opportunity count.
The Aggies are coming off a tough loss against Denver where they lost at the buzzer, but that game's behind them, and now they take on New Mexico State. Tip-off is in a few minutes.
and I think the herd is ready, right guys?
The Aggies jumped out to a 9-5 lead, but that didn't last long as New Mexico cut the USU lead to just 3 at halftime. Shaw put in a game-high 24 points with 14 of those coming in the second half. He also posted 8 rebounds.
I just played my game. I didn't worry about nothing else. I didn't worry about nobody, no other player. Just stay focused and play my game today.
In the second half, USU continued its strong play and held off any comeback attempts by New Mexico State. In the final 4 minutes, the Crimson Aggies turned up the full court press, trying to force turnovers by USU, but they were able to hold on 73-69.
Really a good win for us. I mean, our guys battled hard and I thought deserved to win.
Jason Borba, ATV Sports.
The Aggies will look to build on their momentum as they travel to Provo to take on arch rival BYU tonight. Aggie hockey faced off their last home game of the season last Friday night. Before the game, the Aggies honored their lone senior, Matt Hamilton. Hamilton played 5 years for the Aggies and is a vital part of their offense. The Aggies came out hitting and wanting to make a statement against their in-state rival. Brian Gibbons scored back-to-back goals, but the Utes answered right back, tying the game. Even with the cold, Gibbons created chances for him and his teammates. The rivalry was apparent throughout the game. Hamilton here getting some extracurricular activities. USU hit hard, but in overtime, the Utes struck. Utah won 3-2.
That's a good team. It's a great team, and I was expecting that. I was not expecting just them to roll over. It's a good game.
Just another game. I mean, all the emotions and stuff beforehand are just regular, I guess. But once a puck drops, it's just another game. You're out there to win, so it happens.
I thought we played well. I really did. I just think that some bounces didn't quite go our way. Had some great opportunities to score, and we just couldn't put the puck in the net. And, they capitalized on theirs, and we didn't capitalize on ours, and that was the difference in the game.
The loss has no bearing on the Aggie national bids, and in fact, Gibbons said it could push them to actually skate harder. Aggie men's tennis had a doubleheader Saturday, losing a tough match to Idaho in the morning, but then bouncing back against Mesa State. Our own Brandon Fonda shows us some killer serves you don't want to miss.
Utah State beat Colorado Mesa in a dominating fashion, winning all 6 of their matches, 5 of them coming in straight sets. Rallies like this one weren't seen very often because of the Aggies' big-time serves, especially by Sven Poslunci.
My coach told me to be confident in my serve. I am a big server, and I am usually pretty confident in my serve. He just said to go for it. So I just trust in my game, trust in my serve, and when they come, it's pretty good. And most of the time, I get easy points.
Poslunci defeated his opponent in straight sets, 6-1 and 6-2, in a match where many of his serves weren't even returned back. Utah State is up 3-0 in a best-of-7 matchup against Colorado Mesa. They need to win only one more game, and they'll have sealed their victory. That win easily came in all of the last 3 matches for the Aggies, who didn't really rally, but served their way to victory.
We're a good team, and we can compete with a lot of good teams. It's just a matter of sticking to their game plan and learning to be tough. A lot of it comes down to just competing and being mentally tough.
It was a tough day for Mesa, where the only thing dominating for them on the court were their frustrations. Brandon Fonda, ATV Sports.
The Aggies return to action next weekend in Bozeman, Montana against the Montana State Bobcats. So tonight we're playing BYU, and it's going to be a great game. We were rescheduled, and now we're playing tonight. So what do y'all think about it?
I like to think that USU has a chance to win. What do you think?
I think until somebody puts either jousting or fencing in the university sports, I'm not going to know anything about it.
Well, hopefully it'll be a great game tonight.
For sure. Thanks, Courtney.
After the break, we'll show you what engineers
and artists have in common that's resulting in some pretty cool stuff. Your ATV News will be right back.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Your hearing is important. Take care of your ears. The USU Speech, Language, and Hearing Center offers a full audiometric evaluation. A hearing test for students costs just $15 and is also open to the general public. Custom earphones and plugs can also be made along with a full examination of the overall health of your ears. Hearing. It's a precious thing.
What would you print if you could print anything, even a three-dimensional object?
That's exactly the opportunity students at USU face. ATV's Murray Titsa shows you how engineering and art students are working together to test the machines to its limits.
The engineers are great at this analytical, mathematical concepts.
These 3D prototypes were designed in a class that required engineering and art students to work together.
It's very two-dimensional from the artist's perspective, and so being able to, take those two-dimensional designs and give them to an engineering student who could then put them into something, 3D and, much more, I guess, concrete and, textural, something that you could actually feel and touch.
The engineering student creates a 3D model from the sketch in a program called CAD.
Took me about 20 hours of design work, which I was really proud of the design myself.
How does this go to this and become this?
This is artistic, this is beautiful, but it's also mechanical. And so the concept of, and here we have this 4-bar mechanism that moves this around and rotates it back and forth. That's an artistic, mechanical combination.
Students from the class can turn their plastic 3D prototypes into models made of sterling silver, but Andrew still doesn't consider himself an artist.
Kind of more the logical type. I like to see how things work together.
Marie Titsa, ATV News.
Engineering Graphics 1200 is offered every fall semester at Utah State. So guys, what would you print if you could have a 3D printing machine?
That'd be pretty cool. Maybe a house would be pretty cool. If you could just type that in and say, make me a house, that'd be pretty cool.
I need new costume pieces. Always need new costume pieces.
I'd probably print a lot of money. Just want a lot of that. Print it all up.
That's illegal.
That's called counterfeit.
It's fine. You won't know.
All right, well that's all the time we have for today, but your ATV News will be right back on Thursday.